What is up everyone, and welcome to another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Kazuya's rage mechanic and why I think it is a lot worse than people think it is. Before we start today's video, make sure to subscribe down below. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and if you guys want more Kazuya content and guides, make sure to stick around because I'm going to be posting more and more Kazuya content every single day. But without any further ado, let's get right into it. So first off, I'm going to go over the basics of Kazuya's rage mechanic for people who don't understand it or don't know it. So Kazuya has a mechanic where when he exceeds 100%, and this happens once a stock, you only get this once a stock. If he exceeds 100%, he gets this little rage, and as you can see, he now has this effect, red effect around him, and you can see on his little name tag down below, it's flashing red. And basically what this does, it is a 1.1 damage multiplier that it makes all of your moves do a little bit more damage. For example, normally a non-staled, if I turn stale moves off, non-staled forward air would do about 13.2, but when you have rage it does 14.5. So as you can see, it's just a 1.1 multiplier. And along with the multiplier, you get the boosted, I'm just going to call it the demon side B, or the normal down B, what would be down B, but you get the boosted version of it. And there are different ways to perform it. You could do the normal down B input, and it does a 32.3, or you can do the Shoryuken input and hold A or B, which is just going to be forward, down, down, forward, and then hold A and B like that. And it will do about 38.2% and will kill a lot earlier than the normal down B input. You can also just do it off of standing grab, which will be the same damage as the down B input. So during this rage mechanic, the main thing that you'll see most Kazuyas going for is this move, because it does a lot of damage and it can be comboed into. Since it's a grab, you can just shield grab somebody like that and just go for it, and that's a free 32.3%. It can also kill very, very early. I think at Cloud Unstaled it should kill at around 70% with no DI, so this can be used to kill especially light characters extremely early, especially if you do the Shoryuken input, because it will kill obviously a lot earlier. Sometimes I do find it annoying to pull off in matches, but once you do get it, as you can see, almost kills Cloud at like 70% for free. So if you do, so this is a pretty effective comeback move because you just get free kills for it. At like 80%, Cloud just dies for getting grabbed, which is really, really good. The only problem with this is that when you miss it, because you only have, if your opponent hits you enough times, your, as you can see here, I'm just going to set the CPU behavior to, let's just say neutral special. As you can see, if I get hit a certain number of times, my rage meter will eventually go away. It doesn't, and it also like that. You can see I no longer have the rage meter, and now I'm at 100%, and I basically have no way of effectively making a comeback with my rage meter anymore. That's the biggest problem with this move, is the fact, or this mechanic, is the fact that it goes away super easily, because it actually goes away based on how much your opponent's damage does, and this is scaled, which means depending on what move you get hit with and by which character, you are going to lose this really, really quickly, especially since Kazuya already struggles to get in, since he has a bad jump squat, a 7-frame jump squat. It is really, really hard, especially to get in with Kazuya in general, and a lot of times when you do get in, it's going to be hard for opponents to actually hit you with their projectiles, right? So when you're dodging all their projectiles, right, you're doing all the normal Kazuya stuff, you're crouch dashing under them to approach them. If they just camp you out with projectiles, like say you're going against a young Link and they just camp you out, eventually your rage meter will get either run out because you've tried it too many times, because you can only use it a certain amount of times. If you go for it too many times, like if you just, as you can see, I can whiff it like that. If you go for it too many times, then you will also lose the rage meter. So if you get hit, or say you're trying to approach the young Link and you end up getting hit by like a stray boomerang or a stray fire arrow, just that amount of damage can be enough, depending on how many times you've used it and how long you've had it for, just to actually kill you, which is something that makes this really, really, really unviable in certain situations, just because your opponent knows that you're going for the kill. So if they do certain things like stay on a platform, because once they're on a platform, unless you land on the platform and then do the Shoryuken input, you will only be able to get the normal down B input, which is still very good, but as you can see, it doesn't kill Cloud at 80% like the normal Shoryuken one does. So when your opponent can just camp on a platform, since most characters already know to ban FD against Kazuya, you're going to have a really hard time actually hitting this confirm against a competent player. The only really way that you could do this is to frame trap your opponent, which is going to be pretty difficult against most top tiers and characters that have high mobility, which Kazuya already struggles against. The other problem with this move is that, or this mechanic, is that the rage meter, the 1.1 multiplier, isn't actually that crazy, because when you think about it, when I first heard about this mechanic in the trailer, I kind of thought it was similar to Rage in Smash 4 and Rage Shear, but more similar to Rage in Smash 4, where it was a damage scaling multiplier, because in Smash 4, at max Rage 150%, you got a 1.5 multiplier, which may not seem like a lot in comparison to a 1.1 multiplier, but when you actually compare the actual damage and kill potential of these two, of 1.1 and 1.5, it's actually a lot, because 1.5 is almost half of 1.2%, and 2 is a lot of difference compared to just a 1.1. As you saw earlier, the forward air without the rage meter did about 13%, and the forward air with the rage meter did about 14%. So only 1% more. But if you had a 2 times scale, you would have it doing almost 18%. And since you have the rage in Smash 4, it also made moves kill a lot earlier. Some of Kazuya's moves do kill earlier. As you can see, I think I posted a few videos on my channel of combos that will work with the rage meter on, just because you need that sweet spot forward smash to kill just a bit earlier, and rage meter does help with that. The only problem is that it's really hard for Kazuya to start his combos with the rage meter, which means that you have to get your combos perfectly, and once you do use your actual rage meter, you don't get to use it for the rest of the stock, right? So if you say you kill your opponent right now, right, and you just want to play around, you're at 100%, but you can no longer use your rage meter for this entire stock. So using it as a comeback mechanic is good, but also bad, because if you do fail to kill your opponent with your rage meter, that is gone for the rest of the stock, and you can no longer use it, which means if you're in a last stock scenario and your opponent has 2 stocks and you really need to take a stock, you either have to choose to use your strong command grab Shoryuken input to try to kill them early, try to kill them without it and risk you losing it and not getting the kill either way, or you have to just hope that you can kill them some other way and save it for the last stock just to get a little bit of extra damage off, which makes it really hard just in general to actually game plan with a move, just because since it activates, unlike Terry's go meter, right, you can only use it once, it goes away after a certain amount of time, it goes away after a certain amount of damage, and you can only get it once per stock. Once Terry's at 100%, the reason why Terry is so scary past 100%, because if you get Terry at 100% and you don't kill him, Terry's just going to start comboing you, he's going to hit all of his confirms, and it's not like Kazuya doesn't have confirms into it, right? He can do stuff like Nair, and he can grab you in the air, right? But the only problem is that it just goes away after a certain amount of time. The reason that Terry is so good is because his does not go away after a certain time, which means as soon as he goes 100%, it's basically his comeback time, right? So he can do whatever he wants until he loses the stock, which means Terry players have learned to hold on to their stocks effectively, wait for their opponents to make a mistake, and then hit their kill confirms with almost 100% accuracy, which makes Terry a really big threat, especially in the hands of the right person. Unfortunately for Kazuya, he doesn't have that right now, right? Because the rage mechanic just doesn't work for him. That's about it for today's video. If you guys agree with what I said in today's video, make sure to leave a like down below. If you don't, make sure to talk down below in the comments. I'm always down there reading your comments. If you guys have any more questions regarding the rage mechanic, or if I missed anything in this video, also let me know down below. But without any further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.